Chelsea here. Today we are going to do a heart opening yoga class. So what you'll need is a yoga mat or something that will prevent you from slipping. You'll need 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use pasta boxes, books, or the larger cans. You'll also need a yoga strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use a belt or a scarf. So you'll come down to a seat, come to whatever seat feels good, whether it's cross-legged, legs extended, and you'll grab onto one of your blocks and just bring it directly behind you. It's okay if it's resting on you, that's fine. So whenever you get to your seat, just move the flesh from your sits bones, feel yourself grounding down. And as you ground down, feel your spine lengthening up. As your spine lengthens up, notice if your shoulders go up with it. A lot of times when we find length, we use our shoulders to inch our way up. So counter that, relax the shoulders back and down, chest is nice and open. So keep lengthening through the crown of your head and close your eyes. Beginning to connect with your breath. Feeling your lungs expand with each inhale and deflate with each exhale. As we're going to be focusing on chest openers, so heart openers, on each inhale, try and inhale some positivity. And with each exhale, just letting go of any negative thoughts that may be running through your mind. We all have them, so acknowledging that and trying to just push them away. So inhaling the positivity and exhaling, letting go of any negative thoughts that are running through. And on your next inhale, let your arms stretch up towards the sky. And exhale your hands down through prayer at heart center. Taking this time to set an intention for your practice. So whatever you would like to take away from the mat today. And then let your hands rest down on your lap and flutter your eyes open. On an inhale, let your arms stretch back up towards the sky. And cactus your arms or goalpost them. The palms can face forward, chest stays nice and open. On an exhale, bring the forearms together and give a roundness to your upper back. Inhale, open up the chest. You can pop the chest forward. And then exhale, round it in. We'll do this 3 more times. Inhaling, open it up. And exhale, round it in. 2 more rounds. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, round it in. 1 more, sorry. Inhale, opening up. And exhale, round it in. Inhale, come up to a straight spine, arms to goalposts again, and then release them down. You're going to bring your left hand to your block that's behind you. Inhale that right arm up. On an exhale, start to twist towards the left knee, bringing the right hand onto the thigh. And keeping your chin in line with your chest, so the twist is coming from your torso, coming from your center. So with each inhale, finding length, and each exhale, twisting into that space. If the block behind you is causing some restraint, you can bring the hand down to the floor if that gives you a little bit more space. So gauging where you need to be. So to tell if it's causing some issues, if you find that left shoulder is hiking up towards the ear, just bring the hand down to a lower level. That's perfectly fine. And then inhale, unwind, stretch the arms up. Let the right hand come behind you onto the block. Find some length. And on an exhale, start to twist towards the right knee, bringing the hand to the knee. Keeping the chin in line with the chest. Finding length with each inhale. And exhale, twisting into that space you've created. And just like the other side, if you're finding that that right shoulder is hiking up, just bring the hand down to a lower level. And then inhale, unwind, let both arms stretch up. And release the hands down. So grab onto both of your blocks, bring them at the highest height at the top of your mat, and have your strap up towards the top of the mat as well. We'll need that later. We're going to make our way to a tabletop position. So coming onto hands and knees, and just make sure there's a good distance between you and the blocks. We don't want to hit into them as we go through. So in tabletop, the hands are directly underneath the shoulders, or the wrists, are directly under the shoulders. Fingers spread wide, grounding down evenly in all of the fingers. So especially the thumb and pointer finger, make sure you're grounding down. Knees are underneath the hips. Toes can be tucked or untucked, so whatever feels best for you, whatever helps you feel a little bit more balanced. On an inhale, let the stomach drop, gaze comes forward. You're pulling your chest through, cow pose. Exhale, rounding through the spine, look towards the belly button for cat. Inhaling for cow, pulling the chest through. And exhaling for cat. So 2 more like that. Inhaling for cow. And exhaling for cat. And last round, inhaling for cow. And exhaling for cat. Inhale to a neutral spine. So I'm going to inch myself back so I don't hit the blocks. You're going to bring yourself to a modified push-up position. So the knees are slightly behind your hips. Hips come forward. On an exhale, pulling down through chaturanga. Making sure the wrists, so walking the wrists so they're in line with your ribs. Shoulders roll back and down. On an inhale, pull up for low cobra, hugging the elbows towards one another. Exhaling, push through a table to get to a child's pose. So options for child's pose, you can let your knees come wide, hips head towards the heels. If this does not feel good, separate the toes. Knees are underneath the hips. Hands walk forward. And so forward that you can start to let your chest melt down. So finding whatever is more accessible to you. And then inhale, come back up to that modified push-up position. Exhaling down, chaturanga. Wrists in line with the ribs. Inhaling up, low cobra. Exhale, push back to the child's pose, hips towards the heels. Or to the puppy dog pose, walking the hands forward. We'll do that 2 more times. So inhaling, bringing yourself back to a modified push-up position. Exhale, chaturanga. Wrists in line with the ribs. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, back to the puppy dog or child's pose. And 1 more round. Inhaling, modified push-up position. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for low cobra. Exhale to a child's pose or puppy dog position. And using the child's pose or puppy dog position at any point throughout practice today, it's a great spot to catch your breath. So I'm sounding a little out of breath with that. Or if a pose is just not feeling great today, just come right back to that. It's a perfectly good spot to just take a minute. So on an inhale, come back up to a tabletop position. Knees come underneath the hips, tuck the toes. Let your hands walk forward of your shoulders, still grounding down firmly in all 10 fingers. On an exhale, let your hips lift up and back for downward facing dog. So hands are shoulder width, grounding down especially in the pointer finger and the thumb. And starting to pedal out the feet. Good, let yourself be still. And with the feet hips width, give a slight bend to the knees. As you bend the knees, let the hips head up towards the sky, finding some length in your spine. And maybe start to straighten the legs. It's okay if they don't fully straighten. And then look towards your hands and make your way to a standing forward fold. This is where these blocks will come in handy. You can bring your hands right to the blocks. Bring them so that they're right underneath your shoulders. And for this first forward fold, let your feet be hips width. Give a bend to the knees and let yourself hang over the legs. Shake your head yes, and shake your head no. On an inhale, come halfway up with a flat back. Exhale, folds back over. Inhale, come halfway up. And exhale to stand. Arms stretch up. And hands come down through prayer at heart center. So staying at the top of your mat. Blocks are at the top and your strap is still there. Stand right behind the blocks and on an inhale, arms stretch up. Exhale, hinging from the hips, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. And exhale to stand, arms stretch up, hands down through prayer. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms stretch up. Exhale, hinging from your hips, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale to stand. Hands down through prayer at heart center. Inhale, arms stretch up. Exhale, hinging from the hips, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding over. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale to stand. Hands down through prayer. Adding on, inhale, arms stretch up. Exhale, hinging forward, hands to the blocks. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, bring your hands down to the blocks. Give a good bend to your knees and step the left foot back for lunge, bringing the knee down to the mat. You're going to walk the blocks so they're right underneath your shoulders. Hold on to the strap and just let it rest on the front thigh. The back toes can be tucked or untucked. On an inhale, let your arms stretch up towards the sky, low lunge. So making sure that that front knee is directly over the ankle and that your knee is tracking towards the second and third toe of the foot. So you don't want the knee caving in or caving out. So arms stretch up. And breathing here. Let your right hand come to your hip, left arm lengthens up, and on an exhale, start to bend towards the right, excuse me. And then inhale, let both arms stretch up. Release the arms by your sides and grab onto your strap. So hold on to the strap with one hand, stretch it behind you, and bring the other hand back to meet it, holding onto the strap as well. So letting your shoulders roll back and down, begin to stretch the arms and the strap back, creating a bit of a chest opener here. And as you start to stretch back, keep the bend in that front knee. So breathing into the shoulders here. Breathing into the chest. Maybe bringing your gaze up towards the sky or the ceiling, wherever you are. And inhale, bring it back through center. Just let the strap come towards the top of the mat. Release the hands down to the block. Coming into a twist. So bringing the block, if you have a block, bring it down to like a medium height. Ground down in the left hand. Right hand comes to the thigh. Finding some length in the torso. And exhale, start to twist towards the front knee. Options here, you can stay here, coming into a twist. Maybe extend that left arm up towards the ceiling. And from here, maybe wrap that arm around the lower back, opening up the shoulder. And if, as you're here, you're finding that that left shoulder is really causing some issues, it's hiking up towards the ear, maybe bring the block down a level. or you can forego the block completely and come right onto the mat. So going where you need to be, listening to your body. If you've done the bind, if you've wrapped the top arm around the lower back, extend it back up towards the ceiling. And then bring the hands back to the blocks. Walk them forward a bit and step the left knee back to meet the right. Leave the blocks at the top of the mat. Come to a modified push-up position. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for low cobra. Exhale for downward facing dog. So hands are shoulder width, grounding down evenly in all 10 fingers. Feet are hip width. And hips are heading up and back. And your thighs are pushing back. On an exhale, look towards your hands and make your way to a standing forward fold. Blocks come right underneath the shoulders. And on an inhale, come halfway up with a flat back. Exhale, fold back over. Inhale, come halfway up. And exhale to stand. Hands down through prayer at heart center. Arms come down by your sides. Come to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Stand behind the blocks. And on an inhale, arms stretch up. Exhale, hinging from your hips, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, bring the hands down to the blocks. Give a good bend to the knees. And this time, stepping the right foot back for lunge, bringing the knee down. Having the strap close by, walk the blocks back. So they're right in line with the front foot. They're right, like the arch, towards the middle of your arch. The back toes can be tucked or untucked, whatever feels best for you. Bring the strap right onto the thigh of that front foot, or front leg. When you're ready, on an inhale, let your arms stretch up. And once you're up, gauging to make sure that that front knee is directly over the ankle, and make sure the knee is heading towards the second and third toe of the front foot. So you don't want it caving in or caving out. Let your left hand come onto your hip. Find some length in that right arm. On an exhale, start to bend towards the left knee, the left thigh. And then inhale, come back through center, arms stretch up. Release the arms down by your sides. Grab onto the strap with one hand, bring it behind you. And bring your other hand back to grab onto the other side. Chest is nice and open. Start to straighten the arms behind you, coming into a back bend. And as you bend back, the chest is open. The bend in the front knee remains the same. Maybe bringing your gaze up towards the sky. Breathing into the chest, breathing into the shoulders. And then inhale, let yourself come back through center. Move the strap off to the top of the mat. And bring your hands down to the blocks. So, bringing your right hand to the block. The wrist is directly underneath your shoulder. The left hand comes onto the left thigh. Find some length in your torso, and on an exhale, start to twist towards the left leg. Staying here, or maybe opening that top arm up towards the ceiling. Staying here, maybe wrapping the arm around the lower back. Opening up that chest. So you may see, if you look at me, I'm a little bit too tight. This is a little too high for me. So option, you can lower the block down a level. Or you can forego the block completely. So wherever you land, you want to make sure that that wrist is directly underneath the shoulder. of your twist, bringing your hands back up onto the blocks. Let your blocks come forward and step the left knee back to meet the right. Bringing the blocks all the way to the top of the mat, hands come down to the mat. And coming to your modified push-up position. On an exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, grounding down in the pelvis, low cobra. And then exhale, push through a table for downward facing dog. On your next exhale, look towards your hands and make your way to a standing forward fold. Blocks come right underneath the shoulders. On an inhale, come halfway up with a flat back. Exhale, fold back over. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale to stand. Hands down through prayer at heart center. Arms come down by your sides. So move your blocks towards the middle of your mat. And then move your strap there as well. So you're going to walk your feet out wide, pointing the left toes towards the top of your mat. Begin to bend into that left knee, coming into warrior two. So bending into that left knee, the knees right over the ankle, and just like the lunge, making sure that the knee is tracking towards the second and third toe of the front foot. Hips face the side of the mat. Torso lengthens up, chest is nice and open. Arms come out to a T. Flip the palms up towards the sky, and as you do that, feel your shoulder blades melt down your back. Try and maintain that and flip your palms. Bring your gaze over the middle finger of that front hand. Moving dynamically through warrior two. On an inhale, straighten the front leg, stretch the arms up. Exhale, warrior two. Do that 4 more times. Inhale up. And exhale, warrior two. 3 more. Inhale it up. Exhale, warrior two. 2 more. Inhale it up. And exhale, warrior two. Last round. Inhale it up. Exhale, warrior two. Staying here. As you're staying in this warrior two, imagine I'm there with a block to the outside of the front thigh, and push that block away. It's going to help protect your knee. It just turns your leg on a little bit more. Not that it's not working, but Moving into a reverse warrior. We're going to take the right arm and wrap it around the lower back. Flip the left palm up. On an inhale, lengthen forward. And exhale, reverse your warrior. As you stretch that left arm back, maybe stretch the right arm a little bit forward. You're being pulled in opposite directions. If this does not feel good in your shoulder, you can always bring the right arm towards the front and stretch it from the front. So going wherever you need to be in your shoulder. And as you're doing this, keeping the bend in that front knee. And then inhale it back, warrior two. Hands to the hips, straighten the front legs, and parallel the feet. Grabbing onto your strap. Just like the lunge, bringing the strap behind you, grabbing onto it with both hands. Chest is nice and open. On an exhale, beginning to hinge from your hips, folding forward, stretching the arms up behind you. So you can work towards inching the hands towards one another, maybe interlacing the hands if it's accessible. If you're holding on to the strap, you can let your arms sway from side to side. So just going where you need to be in this shoulder opener. And if this does not feel good, let the hands come to the lower back and then bring them down to the blocks that are down there. And super important No matter where you are, do not lock your knees. So keep a micro bend in both knees. So this is also a great one to do with a golf club. So you can do the same thing with this that you're doing with the strap and just hold on to the club. You can sway from side to side. And letting the hands and strap come to the lower back. Give a good bend to the knees and inhale, pull yourself up. Let the strap come off to the center of the mat again. So switching sides. So this time pointing the right toes towards the back of the mat. Coming into warrior two on the right side. So your right heel intersects with the left arch. Give a good bend to that right knee. Knee falls over the ankle. Inhale, let the arms come out to a T. You can bring your gaze over the middle finger of that right hand. So moving dynamically through this warrior two as well. Inhale, let the arms stretch up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale it up. Exhale, warrior two. 3 more. Inhale it up. Exhale, warrior two. 2 more. Inhale it up. Exhale, warrior two. Last round. Inhale it up. Exhale, warrior two. Just like the other side, imagine I'm there with a block. Push that block away with your right thigh. And reversing our warrior. So taking the left arm and wrapping it around the lower back. Flip the right palm up. Find some length forward. And exhale, reverse your warrior. And as you're reversing back, relax the left shoulder and maybe stretch that left arm towards the front knee. If this does not feel good in your shoulders, maybe bring it towards the front of your body and stretch it that way. So wherever you are, feeling like you're being pulled in opposite directions. And then inhale, bring it back, warrior two. Hands come to the hips, straighten the legs, parallel the feet. So we're gonna come into a normal wide forward fold. So feet are parallel, hands on the hips, blocks should be in front of you. Chest is nice and open on an exhale, hinging from the hips, begin to fold, bringing the hands down to the blocks. So just like the last forward fold, making sure you're not locking your knees, so keeping a slight micro bend. Letting your head and neck be nice and heavy. Maybe shake the head yes, shake the head no. And with your hands on the blocks, trying to find a nice happy medium in weight distribution on the feet. So maybe giving a little more weight to the back, to the heels, and then a little more weight to the toes. And then just swaying from forward and back. Just find a nice happy medium of the weight distribution. We all have a tendency in one direction, trying to counter that a bit. And inhale, let yourself come halfway up. Bring your blocks so they're together and directly underneath your face. You're gonna keep your right hand on the block. The left hand is gonna come to the lower back. Finding some length in the torso, start to twist open to the left. So the goal here is to maintain a nice level lower back. You're twisting from the midline. You're twisting from your abdominals and your chest. And then unwind, come back through center. Switching sides, bring your left hand to the block. Right hand comes to the lower back. Find some length in the torso, and then start to twist from this side. So just like the other side, trying to maintain a nice level lower back. And breathing here. And then unwind, come back through center. Let your hands come up onto your hips, give a good bend to the knees, and inhale, pull yourself up. You can either jump your feet together or walk your feet together. If you are going to jump, give a bend to the knees and jump your feet together. A fun way of doing it. So bring your blocks to the top of your mat. Just have your strap close by just in case. I don't think we'll use it, but I never know. So coming behind your blocks, you're going to come into a couple balancing poses. So to start, we will ground down in the right foot. Hands come to the hips. Begin to bring your gaze or your drishti onto something steady. You're feeling a bit steady. You're going to lift your left knee up hip height. As you lift it up hip height, with your hands on your hips, making sure that that left hip doesn't hike too high up. So you want to keep your hips nice and level. So that may mean that your knee's not going to come up as high as you think it should. The left foot is nice and flexed. Bring the left hand to the knee. Start to open the knee out to the side. Maybe extend that right arm out to the side as well. Unwind, come back through center. Bring your right hand to the knee, left hand to the lower back. Finding length in the torso, start to twist towards that left knee. Maybe extending that left arm long behind you. Palm faces the left side of the mat. And then inhale, unwind, come back through center, hands to the hips. And step that foot back. Lunge. Good. Bring the hands down to the blocks. Bring them back and bring that left knee down. You're going to bring both blocks to the inside of the front foot and bring them down to the medium height. So this is going to work your hips a bit. This is called lizard lunge. So, options. You can start to toe heel the front foot forward, so you're in kind of a deeper lunge. You'll feel it right away in your hips, and you'll start to feel it in your left quad. So you can untuck the left toes, get you a little bit deeper into the stretch. If having the blocks at a medium height is a little too intense, bring it up a level. Always a great option. You're still getting a great stretch in the hips. So super important with this front knee to not let it open up too much to the side yet. I'll give you an option soon. So breathing here, super important. Our hips and our shoulders hold a lot of tension. So whenever you are opening one of those things, sometimes stirs up a lot. Stirs up a lot of mind chatter. So acknowledging that and trying to breathe through it. So we're going to add a little twist. So your left hand will come onto the block. Make sure that the wrist is underneath the shoulder. Your right hand will come to the inner thigh of the front leg. You're going to start to open the knee out to the side. So you're going to come onto the pinky toe side of the foot. So the big toe side is lifted up. Maybe staying here, maybe starting to twist open, gets you a little bit deeper into your hips. Chest is nice and open. And breathing here. If this does not feel good, you can ground down completely in the foot, knee stays over the ankle, and then maybe twist just normally from here. So all depends on your knees, your hips, and just listening to that, acknowledging that. And then wherever you are, unwinding, bringing the hands down to the blocks and stepping slowly that foot back, or that knee back to meet the other. Blocks will come back to the top of the mat. Hands underneath the shoulders and just sway your hips from side to side. And I'll give you a nice stretch for the hip too. So with the hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips, you'll ground down in the left knee. Stretch that right leg behind you, crossing the leg over the left, bringing the toes down to the mat. Walk your hands diagonally over to the right. This is a pretzel stretch. So as you push into that back foot, start to melt your chest down. So what this does is it stretches out the back of the right leg, and it starts to stretch out the left hip. You can bring your forearms down if it's accessible. Just breathing here. And then slowly come back up onto your hands, walk them to the center of the mat. Lift that right leg up and bring the knee down to the mat. Come into a modified push-up position, inhaling forward and exhaling chaturanga. Grounding down in the pelvis, inhale up, low cobra. Exhale, push through table for downward facing dog. And on your next exhale, look towards your hands and make your way to a standing forward fold. Blocks come directly underneath the shoulders. And for these last rounds of forward folds, this is your last standing forward fold. I'll have you grab onto opposite elbows, feet or hips width with a bend to the knees, and just let yourself sway from side to side. Just releasing the lower back of it. This is another great one you could do with a golf club. You could hold on to it and sway. And then releasing the elbows, hands to the blocks. Inhale, come halfway up with a flat back. Exhale, bring the hands down to the mat. And this time, give a bend to the knees and step the right foot back. Oh, excuse me, no, we're gonna step that foot forward. We have to balance. I forgot about that. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold back over. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale to stand. Hands down through prayer at heart center. Arms come down by your sides. Would have been good to not do the other balance. So coming to stand directly behind the blocks. Hands come onto the hips. So this time we'll ground down in our left foot. Begin to bring your gaze or your drishti onto something steady. And whenever you're ready, you'll lift your right knee up hip height. And just like the other side, with your hands on your hips, noticing if that right hip hikes up a little bit higher. So trying to level that up. So you have nice level hips. Flexing the right foot. Let your right hand come onto the knee. Find some length and then exhale, open the knee out to the side. Maybe extend that left arm out to the side as well. And then unwind, come back through center. Adding in our twist. Let the left hand come onto the knee. Right hand to the lower back. Finding length in the torso. And then exhale, start to twist towards the lifted knee. You can extend the right arm long behind you. Palm faces towards the right side of the room. And then unwind, come back through center, hands to the hips. Step that right foot back for lunge. Let your hands come down to the blocks. Bring them back and bring the right knee down. Bring the blocks to the inside of that front foot. Options here. You can toe heel that front foot forward, or you can inch that back knee back. Untucking the back knees. So getting to a point where you feel a nice stretch in the right quad and the right hip. And you can play with the blocks. So you can have them at the highest height, maybe bringing them down a level. So go where you need to be, wherever you need to be to feel the nice stretch. Maybe noticing your shoulders if they're starting to tense up towards your ears. Maybe that is a sign that you need to come up a level, or that you need to roll them back, have a nice open chest. And then with that front foot and the front knee, make sure the knee isn't swaying out quite yet. So keeping it hugging in. So your upper arm of the left hand should touch that thigh. Kind of a good checkpoint. I need that sometimes when I do some poses. So adding in our twist. So you're going to ground down in the right hand, right wrist underneath the shoulder. Left hand is going to come to the inner thigh. And then exhale, start to push that thigh away, coming onto the pinky toe side of that foot. Staying here, maybe starting to twist open to the left. So going where you need to be. So if this is too much, bringing everything down, grounding down in that foot, bringing the knee back over the ankle, and then maybe just twisting, doing a normal twist here. Or maybe just staying in this lizard pose. So going where you need to be, listening to your hips, listening to your body, and just breathing there. I think this is one of my favorite poses. I'm an old runner. I'm not running as much as I should be, so my hips are naturally tight. So this is one of the best ones I could do. And wherever you are, unwind, come back through center. Ground down in the blocks and step the knee back to meet the other. Move the blocks to the top of the mat. Hands directly underneath the shoulders. You can sway your hips from side to side. And then with your knees hips width, grounding down in the right knee, lift that left leg up. You'll cross it over, tucking the toes, and then walk your hands diagonally over to the left. As you push into the left foot, let your chest melt down, maybe coming onto your forearms. So breathing into the back of that left leg, and breathing into the right hip. And bringing your hands back up onto the mat, walking them towards the front. Lift the left leg up and bring the knee down. Coming into one last chaturanga. So coming into your modified push-up position. Inhale the torso forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhaling for low cobra. And exhale, push back to downward facing dog. If you need any movement in your last downward dog, rock it out. And then on your exhale, bring your knees down to the mat and either push back to the puppy dog pose or to a child's pose. And if you're in the child's pose, there's options. You can have your knees wide, or you can bring your knees together. Let your chest rest on top and have the arms stretch behind you. Head comes down to the mat. You let your elbows fall out to the sides. It gives you a nice roundness in the upper back. If that does not feel good, come back to the normal with the knees wide. Arms stretch forward. And then Inhale, let your hands walk back towards your knees. Make your way to a seat. Bring your feet to the mat. Scooch yourself forward. It's a technical term. And you're going to make your way onto your back. And when you get on your back, hug your knees into your chest. And when they get on into your chest, just do some circles in one direction. And then reverse the direction of your circles. Then let yourself be still, keeping the knees bent. Bring the feet down to the mat. Let your arms rest down by your sides and walk your feet back so your fingers graze your heels. We're going to come into a bridge pose, so it's a nice back bend. So with your hands touching the mat, palms of your hands down, middle finger should graze the heels. Chest is nice and open. As you roll the shoulders back, your chest should puff up a bit. So grounding down in the upper arms and the feet. On an inhale, start to lift your hips up. As you lift your hips up, imagine you have a beach ball in between your thighs. So you're squeezing that ball, imaginary ball. So you don't want your knees to come out wide. You want to keep them in line with your hips. So you can stay right here with the palms grounding down. Maybe roll onto your upper arms a little bit more, puffing up the chest. Interlace the hands. And breathing here. Finding some length and sending your tailbone towards your knees. And then slowly coming out. Release the hands first, palms come down, and slowly, one vertebrae at a time, bring yourself down. And pausing here, do not hug your knees in quite yet, though the urge may be, bring it in. Just pausing. And then exhale, hug your knees in. 2 circles in one direction, and reverse the direction of your circles. And keep your knees hugging in. Let your arms come out to a T. On an exhale, let your knees drop over to the right, trying to stack the knees. If that does not feel good, you can always bring a block in between your knees, or in between your thighs. Palms can come up, a little more in the chest. Maybe bring your gaze over the left shoulder. Your gaze is over the left shoulder, bring it back up towards the sky. And inhale it, come back through center. Palms face down again. Exhale, knees fall over to the left. Palms can face up. Gaze can come over the right shoulder. Then bring your gaze back up towards the ceiling, palms face down, and inhale, knees come back through center. Give them one last hug into your chest. And then make your way to Shavasana. So letting your arms extend long on the mat. If you have any, your legs and your arms stretch long. If you have any props in the way, you can always pick them. Or they may have already been picked. So let your feet be as wide as the mat. Any low back issues, you bend the knees. Let the feet be as wide as the mat and your knees fall into one another. If your legs are extended long, let the toes point out to the sides. Arms can rest down by your sides, palms up if it feels good. Maybe palms down. And just closing your eyes, deepening your breath. Feeling with each exhale, just a sense of letting go. Letting go of any thoughts that may be drumming up from the practice today. Acknowledging those thoughts and coming right back to just this breath. extend this past the video. Or when you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And then inhale, let your arms stretch long, up alongside your ears, stretching from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. And then on an exhale, rolling over onto one side, pausing there. And then on an inhale, keeping your head and heavy, make your way up to a comfortable seat. And on an inhale, let your arms stretch up. Exhale, hands down through prayer at heart center. Namaste. And thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions at all, always feel free to reach out. Love to answer anything. So enjoy your day, and I'll see you soon.